All right, we're trying this whole like not sitting down review thing, kind of kneeling. We'll see how it goes. If you're like my mother-in-law that shows up with like one of these, one of these, one of these, and an extra one that comes empty so that she can take back a million things from Target back to the Dominican Republic, you're gonna be really happy that Bellroy now has some bigger options for you. Last year, Bellroy finally dipped its toes into the world of luggage. I think they were very universally well received. I, for one, have taken this guy on 6-7 trips. It remains my go-to suitcase, and it's my preferred method of travel these days, especially with kids. I take this guy with a personal item-sized backpack, and I can fit a month's worth of stuff in there. But for anyone that's a little less minimal, or you're traveling somewhere very cold, or maybe you're combining stuff with like you and the kids, which is something that we do as well, I think these two are fantastic options. I'm gonna talk about like my 1 year later thoughts on this suitcase, like the things I like the most about it as they apply to these. I'm gonna talk about like one nitpick that I have, which is pretty minor, to be honest. One thing that I'm secretly hoping for in the future. And then lastly, I will pack this guy out. I'll put myself in my mother-in-law's shoes, packing a lot more than I would need. And then I'll put that same exact load out in this one, so you can see how much additional space you have left over. And then at the end, I'll quickly pack this guy out with the majority of the things I would have in here, excluding a couple things. Let's get into it. So this is the standard size internal capacity of 60 liters. This is the large internal capacity of 90 liters. This one's gonna retail for $399, and then this one's gonna be $439. Along with these new suitcases, they're also introducing two new colors. One is this one, the Fig, which is a deep purple color. I really like it. The second one I did not opt for, which is the Night Sky. It looks really beautiful. It's like a sophisticated navy. But man, this Everglade, we'll talk more Bellroy colors in a bit, because it's one of the things that I really value about what they're doing with these suitcases. But yeah, beyond the obvious size difference, a few things that are different with this one: the internal organization has been optimized for the bigger size. Secondly, they're still using Hinomoto Japanese wheels, which are the golden standard, but these are the Miraclint, and they're a bigger diameter than the small one, which makes a lot of sense. And they've strengthened the telescopic handle. And lastly, they've also made reinforcements to the hard shell. But yeah, starting off with the internal organization, on the left side of the suitcase, with the smaller one, you get a horizontal zipper, and it's good for like slimmer things that you want to put in vertically. With this one, it runs vertically, the zipper, and you have two different segments. These sleeves, right? It's stitched down the middle, so it's segmented, but the way they've done the zippers, I think it's really cool in the sense that you can have one zipper that opens everything up both sides, or you can just zip it halfway. This remains secure, and you can get into one side, and same with the other one. And then the other thing that's changed organization-wise is that in the other one, you get two removable packing cubes, whereas this one, you get one big one in the top. Keep in mind that on the bigger one, it's shaped to the size of it, so it will be bigger. But this is stitched on, it can't be removed. And then you get on the side two different stitched on like pouches essentially that are great for socks on one side and then smaller things on the other. Also worth calling out, with the organization, you get these integrated compression straps. So you don't get any compression on the small one. I think it's smart that for a bigger suitcase, especially to keep everything in one place, that they did that. Second thing is the Hinomoto wheels. They stuck with Hinomotos, which if you're not familiar, I mean, they really are the golden standard for wheels. Japanese made. The ones on these are the silent runs, and these are the Miraclints. Main thing is bigger diameter, since you're dealing with something bigger, but the overall smoothness and how silent they are feels pretty similar on both. Another thing that they've done is they've reinforced the handle. Now, I have noticed, you know, these are newer, and this one, the more you used it, the smoother it got, but it'll probably take a little time. It's not as easy to adjust. Again, I think with time it will, but if you compare them side by side, this one just feels a lot more secure, has less shake than this one, and then same with this one, which is really great that they did. And they've also strengthened the actual hard shell. So with these, being designed to take more of a beating since you'll be checking them in. I think it was really great that they did that, especially at like the contact points. In the world of luggage, there's so much of the same, especially if you're looking at polycarbonate shell suitcases. The combination of what Bellroy is doing to give it that unique value proposition is like what I love about it, and it distills down to three main things. One is these nylon woven grab handles. Secondly is the replaceability of parts, and then just lastly is the access to their amazing colors. At least I consider them to be amazing. So starting off with the grab handles, hard shell luggage, it's not that they're boring, but I mean, there's only so much that you can do to create like a more striking visual design. If you look up close, the actual shell, it has like a fantastic texture. I really like the look of the luggage as is. These little ridges not only add a nice little contrast, but it's designed to help reinforce it, right? These are the main contact points where suitcases get hit. And so they have done that both in the front as well in the back. When you have, you know, a luggage handler having a bad day, little things like that provide peace of mind. But yeah, the grab handles themselves just feel really great. I think having a soft good material rather than just silicone, some rubberized standard grab handle gives it a lot of personality, and then just like the tactile feedback from interacting with it is really nice. Now, they've held up fantastically, but I've been using it primarily as a carry-on. My only thing that I can't really speculate on until I've actually like put these to use, but I just would imagine that a fabric like this, even though it feels like the way it's so tightly knitted, so tightly woven, that I think it'll hold up fine, but compared to something like a silicone or rubber, we'll see if this, you know, like holds up as well or if it frays. But for that additional peace of mind, this goes to my next point that I really like, is that all of these parts are replaceable with the exception of the shell. The luggage comes with a 10-year warranty, but beyond that, there's something so great about the fact that if anything on here breaks, whether it's the wheels, the grab handles, the telescopic handle in the back, rather than having to put it in a box, ship it in, sometimes pay for shipping, be left without a suitcase, especially for people that travel frequently, to then wait and see if they can repair it or they end up sending you a new one. A lot of this is, of course, to like provide the convenience for customers, but also like at the core of everything that Bellroy does, they have sustainability in mind. And so part of that is to create products that are going to last a long time and have minimal impact on the environment. The videos on how to replace these parts, it's super easy to do. And so if one of these grab handles breaks, they send you a new one with like a little fix-it kit. That's part of the reason for why, if you might not like the exposed handle on the back, I've grown to appreciate it. I think it's a nice touch. It also contributes to the weight of these suitcases, which are 3.9 kilograms for this guy and 5 kilograms for this guy. Given how like heavy duty these things feel, the overall construction that you're getting relative to that weight is fantastic. And one of the places where they're saving weight is doing that, but more importantly, this makes it so you can actually repair the telescopic handle yourself. And then the last thing that makes a big difference, like for me, right, like in the world of suitcases where most brands will carry the same colors, black, navy, olive, you know, maybe like a traditional orange, Bellroy's color palette, again, very much a personal thing, but as someone that likes a little pop in their life, but also something that's like not too in your face, they strike a really good balance, like using like earthier tones and ultimately just creating colors that are very unique to them for the most part. And yeah, life's a little too short to just be rocking a black suitcase. So you get a great variety of colors. My ranking of the colors would be still number one, the bronze. Secondly is their Everglade color is amazing. I haven't seen the night sky one. Zach from Vision Swell is reviewing it. He's gonna send me a little shot that I'll include on here so you can see what it looks like beyond just a picture on Bellroy's website. So it's hard to like say which one I like more between the plum and this and that one. They both look fantastic. Maybe the plum and then chalk and then black last. Now, really my only nitpick with this suitcase, especially in contrast to the original, is that the packing cube that comes in this one, whereas they're removable on the smaller one, it's stitched on. And while I think it's great that you get this like custom size packing cube that's integrated into it, so you can maximize that space as much as possible. And given the choice of like having it versus not having it, I would for sure rather have it. But I think it'd just be nice making it so that it is removable, mainly because if you're like packing stuff into it, I think it's nice being able to like take it out, pack your stuff without having to like pack it directly in the suitcase, depending on your scenario. Or same thing, you get to the destination, being able to like take it out and take it somewhere. Or maybe convert that bag into like a dirty clothes hamper within it. I don't know, just having that flexibility. And also because so much of the suitcase is replaceable, the fact that that's stitched on, if the zipper breaks on that, for example, then you're kind of like stuck with it. Whereas making it removable, it'd be a lot easier to obviously swap it out. Now, not really a nitpick, but just looking into the future, Bellroy, you know, I think they do such a great job with fabrics, and in a very Bellroy-esque fashion, like these woven grab handles is kind of like that signature Bellroy touch. It would be cool, I think, to see in the future a hybrid of a hard shell and a soft shell, where it's soft shell in the front and maybe having the ability to like stick something in there, like a laptop. Maybe less so for the check luggage, to be honest, but more so with the carry-on, right? Because I typically carry my laptop in my backpack, but I have a Thule suitcase that has a spot in the front. It's entirely a soft shell where you could put your laptop. Also for my wife, like her bag is packed with other stuff and she doesn't prioritize tech as much. And so she loves being able to throw her laptop on the suitcase, right? When she's definitely like not using it while she's in transit. And not to mention, it gives them an opportunity to use one of their like amazing fabrics in conjunction with the hard shell. Let's get into the packouts. Okay, this will be a fun exercise for me. I'm gonna pack like the most I've ever packed. This is on the 69 liter version, the standard transit check-in version, just to give you an idea of what fits. And then I'll put the same exact stuff in the big one so that you can see what fits in that guy as well. The only thing that I'm not gonna do is, I left my socks, the rest of them upstairs, but I'm gonna pack 4. You'll see there's plenty of space for me to like sneak socks around the suitcase, but in this little pouch here, you can fit 4 comfortably. One thing I definitely recommend, I'll link it below. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. A little weight for just checking the weight of your luggage, especially if you're traveling with someone like my wife that always likes to be at like 49.9 pounds. Gives you a ton of peace of mind. You don't want to be that person at the airport waiting to, you know, scale everything there and then having to stress out about taking stuff out. So 5 t-shirts and 2 shorts. Then these are 2 medium weight overshirts. The top one's a chore coat. I'll stick that underneath that. Cold weather, so little scarf action. Here I've got a medium weight synthetic down, like the Arc'teryx Proton hoodie. And I'm gonna put a heavyweight cotton knit over it. This thing takes up a ton of space. Shoes. And then as you can see here, they added little compression action with these magnetic buckles. And they work pretty well. I mean, they get the job done more than anything to keep everything secure there. And then here, again, putting myself in more of a maximalist state. This is the Bellroy, the standard size of their hanging toiletry kit, which my wife uses and loves. I'll put that in there. This is really cool because it's stitched here and it's segmented. So you can just like open one section, open it all together from either side. I thought that was really, really clever. Throw a little beanie here. And then again, like throwing a freaking pair of boots. I'd typically just throw socks in there inside the boots. Here I've got like heavy duty jeans, smaller pants, and then just like a full suit action. from Bluffworks, which I just featured in a Spring Essentials video. This stuff is amazing because it doesn't wrinkle. So in case you're doing anything that requires formal. And then that is like already super excessive for what I would need, but I just had a Bellroy packing cube fully packed with a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna just throw that in there just to show you that you can fit it, no problem. If you're traveling by yourself and you need something bigger than this, there's, I'm sure, specialized therapy groups for people like you or like my mother-in-law who just don't even get me started. As you can see, fits really, really well. Now I'm gonna put the same exact stuff in the big one. Okay, just to be a little efficient with time, I already packed the socks, which worthwhile calling out, this cell right here has the same capacity as the other one, but the integrated packing cube up here is fit to size, so it actually, like, you get a lot more length. So you can actually put, like, if these are t-shirts, you can fit probably another 4 to 6 pair of socks in there. Okay. Work shirts. I mean, like, unless you're going to Iceland and you're packing like parkas, like multiple parkas, I don't know, like, what human would need something of this size purely for themselves. But I mean, if you're buying stuff that you want to bring back, you're paying already for a suitcase. So I totally get that. So, I mean, here, these shoes fit. There's space for another pair of shoes if you want. And then on this side, look at this. So with the boots, like, you have all this additional space here. Here's suit, dress shirt, pants, and then the jeans. I mean, and then just all this space right here. Not even gonna bother closing it. You get the picture. With the exception of this jacket that I would throw in my backpack, the leather boots, and then the additional Bellroy like packing cube that was just me throwing random stuff in there. This is like in the carry-on, right? 2 medium-sized overshirts, denim jeans, and then these Bluffworks like thinner pants, super thick knitted cotton sweater. Not gonna throw socks in here, but you'll see there's plenty of space. That blazer and a dress shirt. This is assuming I'm going somewhere where there's like a wedding or want to dress up. The t-shirts, all the ones that I put in the other one, are already in here. And then the extra shoes that I'm bringing. And then there's like space down here for socks. There's even space here for a dop kit as well. But all of this stuff fits comfortably. I mean, I went to Europe last year for a month, and it was spring, so I didn't pack this much stuff, a little bit less, but around there, minus like the formal attire, and it fits really, really nicely. So final thoughts, is it worth it? Like, if you're looking at a hard shell suitcase and you don't want to spend a ton of money, but you also want to treat this as like a long-term investment, if you look at some of the more popular options like Away, Monos, Base, also very good options. I think price point wise, you're about the same depending on the model. These are a bit more expensive than some of those, but you're going to be like in the $300 to $400 range. In the end of the day, it's like what you value the most. I think the things that stand out about this suitcase that make it a worthwhile investment for myself, where you're getting additional value add, the personality that you get with these woven grab handles, not to mention like how good they feel. Secondly, the access to the colors that Bellroy has. They make colors that are a lot more interesting and unique to me than a lot of those other options. The fact that the vast majority of the components on here are easily replaceable. You don't have to send your suitcase in, and adding to that the peace of mind with a 10-year warranty. And then lastly, the fact that you get integrated packing cubes. I know I said, yes, like given the choice, I would rather like the big one be something that you could actually remove from it, but having that included, where typically those other suitcases are additional add-on costs and they're fit perfectly to size, would make for a pretty easy check luggage option. Now, I am gonna be like doing a review of the level 8 Voyager suitcase as well. That I think is another fantastic option for a checked one specifically. They're doing something with a luggage handle that is a little less practical for me for a carry-on size suitcase, but for a big checked one is worth checking out. And then lastly, I already showed you like what fits in all of these. You know, now that we have 2 kids, like one of the things that we've been doing on traveling, even though I absolutely am not one that enjoys checking a bag in, personally, like this is what comes with me, this in a backpack. But my wife, instead of taking a carry-on and then another carry-on for the kids, because they're too young still to take their own like carry-ons, we want to be as hands-free as possible in the airport. And so she'll take something like this size and she packs for herself and the 2 kids in that. We check it in, and then I'm just carrying this in a backpack through the airport, and then she'll have a backpack as well in the airport. I feel like if you're already paying for a check bag, it doesn't hurt to maximize, but it also depends on where you're going. Having something this big can definitely be cumbersome. I think if you're just taking stuff for yourself and you want to have a lot of space, you should be golden with this, assuming you're not like planning on just buying a ton of stuff at destination. But yeah, I think for certain people, especially if you're traveling somewhere where you got to take a lot of bulky layers because it's cold, maybe it makes sense to get something like this for 2 people or pair this with a carry-on or 2. I don't know your situation. I'm just throwing ideas out there. But yeah, other than that, best of luck and cheers. Oh, my knees hurt.